All right, boys, here we go. It is time for another community team review video. And some of these teams are going to be before the lineup combinations got all shook up and we got a massive amount of stuff. And we'll probably see that shift, I'm imagining. And Mcdavid will be the indicator at when that happens, because I think Connor McDavid's captain is going to be the one we're going to see the most of. So let's get into it, starting with Bedsy as a captain here. But we've got the Sakic line with the McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl line. No Solani line here. And we've got Edmondson with Liljegren for the +2, utilizing that fantasy combo. And then 9 AP and 3 AP just between your bottom end defense and your goaltending. So that's pretty sick. Still $4 million in cap space for this team. $5 million in cap space for this team. So I wonder what they're going to do. But massive marquee line on the bottom here with $8 million and 5 AP. That's a heck of a combination. And then face off Rantanen and face off Quentin Byfield is a sick line as well with Bedsy. Too bad there's no boost for Bedsy there with that line. Macklin Celebrini, a card we don't see a lot of. This is a card we do not see a lot of, is the Macklin Celebrini. And it's just because lineup combinations do not favor this player that much to where you would use him for AP and money and whatnot. So unfortunately, the Macklin Celebrini is a rough use. But again, that bottom line where we're seeing 3 AP, $8 million, and then we got a massive AP boost on goaltending. But then right up here, we have a $10 million boost with Liljegren and Provorov. I would probably put a Detroit player there to get that +2, because Liljegren's massive with the +2. And you're not using any of that cap space. So unless something's changed where you're utilizing that cap space, I wouldn't put Provorov there unless you're a fan, and I would go get a Detroit player and give that line a +2 overall. But again, if you need that cap space for something, then I would definitely rock that 10 million cap space. And then we have the Sakic, Pettersson, Pasta line. It's been an absolutely disgusting line. And this is the decision you've been seeing people make. With the new Thompson card coming out, the new Byfield card, people are actually like letting go of the lineup combos in some situations. Like you see here, Solani not getting a lineup combo because he's still fast, and people want to play with the Thompson and the Byfield. So this is decisions you're seeing people make here where they'll give up on the lineup combo to get 3 really, really good cards. And then we got Justin Barron with Paul Coffey, Doughty with Hudson, and the AP boost of Carlson and Dahlin. And then the 5 boost on the bottom with Binnington and Dustin Wolf. And then, of course, the marquee down on the bottom where you got Carrick, Henrique, and Domi for 8 AP and $8 million. With this picture, you can't tell without doing the math, I guess, of how much money they're actually using towards the salary. But that 8 million is probably helping. And then again, Barron with Coffey. And then we got Dahlin with Carlson, Dunn, and Adam Larson getting in there. And there's our first Connor McDavid, I do believe. That's our first Connor McDavid. So it looks like the teams are catching up now to the content that was dropped yesterday. So everyone was deleting their old teams, putting in their new teams, and it's fun to see. So now we've got the Sakic line, the McDavid line, and the Solani line. If you want to, I don't know if you can afford it with your salary or coin value, but Saad right there with 92 speed, and then you get the +2 overall to Saad. That might be a terrific way to boost up your entire team and get 92 speed with the rest of this line. Saad's a really good pick for that lineup combo if you can. I don't know if you can. Then we got Owen Tippett with Steve Yzerman and Horvat, the Binnington line for 5 AP. This is a really good team. This is a very creative use of the spotlight event, where you get the Canada Bennett with the Oilers McDavid and the Germany Draisaitl, giving you that +1. So A+ to creativity on that lineup combo to utilize your 2 free cards and your built McDavid. A+ for creativity on that one. You do have to get yourself a 6th player. And honestly, I would do it in your net. Kevin Weeks isn't offering you anything. You don't need that $1 million. So I would go out and get a Pacific player in net. Whether you do the Demko that you got for free just by doing the XP path. But I would take Kevin Weeks out and put Demko in net. But other than that, terrific team and very well used on the lineup combos. All right, here's our first stacked city roster. We've got Gardner, Eric Lindros, and McDavid. I've got this line. It's unbelievable. Solani with McTavish and Troy Terry. Again, unbelievable line. And Provoka with Sakic. I have this line, but instead of Landeskog, I have William Nylander. But again, this Landeskog card would be nasty on this line. And then we're getting $15 million out of Barzell, Cousins, and Bouvier. That's huge. And then Lane Hudson, that's gross, with Rob Blake. And we got Cale Makar partnered up with Coffee, which is actually a nasty duo. Well done on this team. Oh my. I wish this team was done on the other screen just because I'd love to see the lineup combinations we've got going on here. Because I know the third line is a lineup combo and the second or the fourth line is a lineup combo, but I would love to see all the combinations you've built. But this is a sick theme team. Well done. It's a really well built together theme team. And then again, a creative use with these Chell Week players. We got Tom Wilson for Washington, Sam Bennett for Canada, and Landeskog for Sweden, giving you that +1 overall on cards that you don't really see a lot of on people's teams. So it's really fun to see creative lineup combinations that give you that +1 and help you get players in you enjoy. And then again, the Ducks line on the bottom with Cutter, Paling, and Solani's a sick line. We got use of the rookie Stamkos. So first Stamkos we're seeing, where we get Stamkos with Fantasy Lafreniere and Zach Hyman's BND. So that's a sick line right there. And then the AP boost of the Check My Game with Roman Josi. Roman Josi is the captain for this team, also getting $5 million in AP with Charlie McAvoy. So that's huge. I wonder if because Chara's a lefty, I think, right? I was gonna say I wonder if we'd see Chara here, but I think Chara's a lefty, so that doesn't really work. Then we got the AP out of Carlson and Dahlin, and then this sick fantasy combo with Liljegren and Gustafsson from Check My Game for that +2 overall. All right, then we got an absolutely stacked team here where we're spending $119 million, where we've got Connor McDavid's base card with Eric Lindros's icon card and Adam Oates up the middle. So that's a sick combo. I'd be curious to see if you're just going to rock McDavid's base card or if you're going to build his captain, which I don't think you will because you're utilizing Zibanejad fairly well with Stamkos and Gretzky. So I think you're just going to run the McDavid base card. And honestly, there's not that much of a difference where you wouldn't, considering how well you're using Zibanejad. And then we've got the Sakic, Thompson, Solani line, not giving you anything, but just a great line. And $15 million in boosts in salary from your fantasy line, which, by the way, Couturier, Gallagher, and Taylor Hall that's not a bad lineup. My favorite goalie pairing has to be Pekka with a Canadian Boston backup because it gives you 2 overall, $5 million, and 4 AP. That's probably the best goalie pairing you could have. It's absolutely disgusting to hit all 3. And that's just a sick pairing. And then we got the AP pairing. We got Cronwall with Coffee. You don't see too many Cronwalls, so that's fun. And then McKennis with Pronger. I love that. But this is probably the most money I've seen spent on a team, as in $119 million on the cap, and right to the brim too. $120 million in space, 119.8. There is no room for anything else on this team. Money is spent on our backup goalies here, and I think the reason the money is spent is I don't think you need $5 million on Jaguar, but I'm seeing, you just can't see it off to the edge here. $98 million is what his team is spent at, so he's not really hurting for money. If he ever needs cap space, he could just get rid of Jaguar for any Anaheim goalie. And actually, why wouldn't you get St. Louis? Why wouldn't you get a St. Louis goalie here for dirt cheap and get extra AP? No, that St. Louis wouldn't work. Never mind, never mind. Scratch that. St. Louis wouldn't work. St. Louis wouldn't work. St. Louis is in the Central. That's in the Pacific, so that makes sense. But I would still get a cheaper goalie and try to save yourself cap to go somewhere else. And then we got Fantasy Brady Shea. That's interesting. We got Fantasy Brady Shea, 3 overall boost, getting him up to a 78 and $5 million in cap space. That's the first Brady Shea I've seen. And then we got McDavid with Brandon and Bobby. This is just a fun team right here. This is just a fun team full of cards that you don't really see a lot of. Like we got the Solani line on the 4th line. We got $8 million with the Duchesne line. We got pretty good usage here of the face-off Rantanen with Roenick and Murray. And then we got a fun top line here with Bobby and Brandon with McDavid. This is a fun-looking team. And Bobrovsky and net, again, something you don't normally see. But I like this squad. You did a really good job putting this together. And then, again, the most common captain we're going to see is the McDavid captain. With McDavid, Lindros, and Gardner, that is just a nasty first line, and I have it as well. And this second line is still disgusting with Pettersson, Sakic, and Pasternak. But William, Provoka, and Sakic is really good as well for +3. But these 3 guys at +2 overall is really decent as well. It's just I needed Provoka to also save on money. So saving on salary was the reason that line is so nasty. And then we got Kopitar, the first Kopitar, lads. Our first Kopitar of the team review. Let's go. I love seeing that. We got Solani, Kopitar, and Byfield. And then the $15 million Lafreniere, Couture, and Hall. With the combination of Hendrik Lundqvist and Vasi for 7 AP. And then we got Morgan Riley with Montour for 1 overall and $5 million. That's actually, I might steal that combination. I like that lineup combo. I have Morgan Riley. I have Montour. I might take that. That looks like a fun combo. And we got Coffee with Makar and Yossi with Marquis Ekblad. That's a good team. 117 million is pretty sick. Portis with Nikita and McDavid for a +2. That's a creative usage of those 2 cards there. Probably a fun first line. I'm not even gonna lie. And then we got Matthews, Eichel, and Nylander not giving us anything. That's just got to be a favorite line, right? Fun players that you like. But that's not giving us any boost. And I was trying to think of how we could with what you got. But you probably don't want to get rid of Nylander. You're probably a fan of that card. But if you did put an American player in there, that would give you an AP boost that you're currently not doing. That's just a fun second line. And then we got the Anaheim Ducks 3rd line. And then Crosby's 4th line getting you the Canada's AP. Stolar's in net. Just a great squad we got here. And Brandon Montour with Quinn Hughes. This is a good team. This is a really good team. All right, and then we got McDavid, Lindros, Gardner, Sakic's line. Yeah, so it's the McDavid line, the Sakic line, and the Solani line is the one we're starting to see a lot of. And then Wilson, Byfield, and Laffy give you $5 million and 7 AP. That's a sick 4th line. And then we got Vasi and Lundqvist in net with the 2 fantasy guys on the bottom end, Liljegren and Piant. And then Coffee with Barron, giving that +2. Makar and Dahlin, size and speed. $111 million team. But I really love that 4th line with Wilson, Byfield, and Laffy giving you $5 million and 7 AP. That's a very well-built 4th line. Then we got Shadow coming in with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hall for 1 overall. Good usage there. The Sakic line. And then Roenick, Eichel, and Toracek giving +2 AP. Haven't seen that yet. That's a good usage. And then we got 9 AP for that bottom line with Check My Game, Taze. Taze has nasty faceoffs. $6 million out of the marquee pairing at the top. And then Vince Dunn, Justin Barron, Blake, and Quinn Hughes. That's actually a pretty disgusting combination on your D. With John Quick and Shesterkin giving you that 5 AP. And again, your top 9, the McDavid line, the Sakic line, the Solani line, nasty combination. And then the bottom is definitely where you make up a lot as well with Hemsky, Draisaitl, and Bouvier. That's a pretty sick line as well. And your defense does exactly what you needed to do with the Yossi line doing the AP and the money, the AP coming out of the Carlson line, and then an overall boost on that top pairing. So this is a really, really good team as well. We're seeing a lot of very well-built teams that are just absolutely squads, like just God squad teams being built. McDavid not getting a boost, but putting him with Fedorov and Landeskog is pretty sick. Crosby getting you 3 AP. The Pettersson line getting you 5 AP. Your goalie, oh man, this is an AP team. This team has 42 AP activated at $104 million. That's a squad right there. $104 million, 42 AP. Just utilizing everything you can. If you wanted to, a direction you could go is taking Fedorov off your team and getting Mike Gartner's Hut Hero card. And that would give you a +1 overall. But I'm seeing you've got an A on Fedorov, so you probably have zero interest in taking him off your team. This is the first Carey Price I've seen, and I've already seen too much of him. But we've got Carey Price with Robert giving you 3 AP, a Yager card on the bottom with Pappy and Cousins for 1 overall boost and 5 million. And then we got Celebrini with Pettersson and Wright for 5 AP, the Sakic line and the McDavid line, and then the pairing of Makar and Coffee. And then here comes Holler Boys. I get Holler Boys not doing the Leafs theme team because, like, with everything we just got, there's some fun to be had. And fun to be had as in we get a +1 with Marner, McDavid, and Tim Stützle. That's a good line right there. That's a good line. Then we got the Sakic line, and then we got Pappy with Eichel, and then the Marquee line giving you a bunch of boosts on the bottom. And then again, this is probably going to be the most top pairing defense we see today and keep seeing is Makar and Coffee. I don't think they give you anything, but it's just a sick combination. And then we have McDavid's line with Sakic's line. Oh, no, it's not Sakic's line. We have Solani, Sakic, and Byfield. Not worrying about any boost whatsoever. We're just going to slap an absolute stacked line together. And it's a well-built line for sure. And then we got the Marquee with Duchesne, Keller, and Jack Hughes. That line probably absolutely just does work out on the ice. And then Nikas with Scheifele and Howden. I'm sure there's some better way you could use your fourth line to get you something. Like, unless you're just a fan of all of those players. Like, I'm sure, because I think this is a New Jersey fan, or a New York Rangers fan. So I'm sure you could utilize some way in getting 2 Rangers and American player on your team. But not a bad line. And then we have Cale Makar with the Baron Wi-Fi line. And then Gustafsson with Carlson. That's actually a sick pairing, giving you 2 overall and 4 AP. And then we have Vasilevsky and net. And then we got the McDavid line. The Zibanejad line actually popping up for the second time, where we got Zibanejad and Stamkos being paired together. So taking base McDavid and rocking Zibanejad and Stamkos is something we've seen twice now. And then the McKinnon line with the Marquee line on the bottom. The Marquee line is something we're seeing a lot of. I imagine those cards are pretty pricey right now to buy. And then we got Thornton, the first Thornton of the day. Ray Bourque with Paul Coffey. You love to see it. That Ray Bourque card, if you can sell him, like if you want to part ways with him, I know you probably don't, but that Ray Bourque card right now is like 200,000 coins. Because if you pair him with a Nashville defenseman, you just get absolutely just massive perks everywhere. So like I said, you probably don't want to move away from him because it looks like you got a Boston theme team here. So I get that, but like, my God, that's bank. Alexander Holtz, Tim Stützle, and Victor Olofsson. I don't think we've seen any of those cards, let alone this combination. We get a +2 overall, which is good usage. The Canada combo for 3 AP, and then the Check My Game combo for 6 AP. Is this a Vegas Golden Knights theme team? Except for Demko, right? This is a Vegas Golden Knights theme team except for Demko. Well done. Well done. Yeah, Yeah, that's exactly what this is, isn't it? And Janmark? Janmark never played? My bad, my bad. So except for Janmark and Demko, this is a fun Vegas team. Good job, buddy. And at 60 million. And then we got the Sakic line, the Solani line, and then a great usage of 2 Rangers and American player with Eichel, Miller, and Will Crowley. And then on the bottom, the Marco Rossi combination that just came out, giving you 5 AP and $5 million. That is actually a sick 4th line, helping your team out all over the board, which I'm going to glaze that 4th line because it's a well-built 4th line. But at the same time, you could probably do better because you got 5 million out of that line, and that gives you 9 million in cap space. So it's not something you really needed to chase, but I mean, that is a heck of a 4th line. One thing I would do though is I would take Marty Turco off your backup and I would put a Canada Boston goalie there, because that gives you +2, but it gives you +$4 million and +4 AP, I believe. So that's a sick combination. If you like Rene, I know 87 Rene is good, but 86 Rene with cap and AP is even better. So you could pull out Marty Turco and put in a Boston backup Canada goalie. Heiskanen with Faber, that's a good line, and then 9 AP. This is a really well-built team. Very well-built team. Is there no other Nashville American player you could get? I'm probably imagining there isn't. And then we got the Sakic line, McDavid, Solani, Byfield. That's a creative second line right there. Or sorry, that's not Byfield. My bad. That's Anze Kopitar, the second Anze Kopitar of the day. Byfield is on the 3rd line with Gretzky and McKinnon for the AP boost. And then we've got Duchesne, Rossi, and Eichel for another boost on the 4th line. Zane Parekh finding his way with Chris Pronger. And if we ever get a rookie combination, you're looking pretty good with a rookie combination of Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar. So if we ever get rookie AP, you're laughing. And then there's that line I was talking about that gives you salary, AP, and overall boost on Pekka Rinne. All right, here we go. We got a Naslin, Celebrini, Matty Beniers line. Haven't seen that combination before, and that's our second Celebrini, so that's fun to see. And then we got a Michkov, Fedorov, LaFontaine line. Cam Talbot with Lundqvist giving him the boost. Matthews, Crosby, and Taylor Hall. That's a fun line. I did that exact same line with my Taylor Hall and Matthews, but instead of doing Crosby and having 3 lefties, I got Mario Lemieux, which, by the way, Mario Lemieux is very disappointing. I'm probably going to sell him and just build the Crosby. And then the AP boost on the bottom of McKinnon, Taze, and Gallagher. So this is a really well-built team as well. And Lane Hudson, that's pretty gross. We're going to move on. And then we've got Demko in net with Jonathan Quick for a 1 overall boost. Theodore with Barron for a 2 overall boost. The Timu Solani line at top. And then we got Pasta with Taylor Hall and Leon Draisaitl. I don't know if that line offers anything or if it's just a really good line. I don't think that combo offers anything. Actually, it doesn't because it would visibly show. Brain fart. And then we got the marquee line on the bottom for 8 mil and Naslin's line giving you a +1 overall with Sweden, Canada, and Tom Wilson's Washington card. $103 million team. Good job, Kevkov. Good job, buddy. All right, first, we've got on the bottom the 3 marquee, because when I zoom in, you're not going to be able to see it. We got the 3 marquee players, which are offering that salary boost. But then we also have Ekblad with Matheson, which I also think is a salary boost, or an AP boost, sorry. So that's really good usage of the marquee event. And then we got Cale Makar getting up to an 88 overall when paired with Yossi. That Nashville, Canada combo, great job there. AP with the Dahlin and Carlson. So your defense, you're utilizing your defense very well to do AP. Same with your goaltending, where you drop down Demko. I'm thinking you drop down Demko to an 84 and then boost him up with Kelly Rudy to back to an 85, and that helps you save $1 million. So that's a really smart usage there to save $1 million salary by dropping Demko down and then boosting him back up with the backup Rudy. I really like that. That's a smart play. And then we got McDavid's line with Sakic's line And then Kachuk. Let's go. Our first Brady Kachuk that we've seen. That's a fun one. I like seeing that. And I'm a huge fan of the Anaheim Ducks orange jerseys. I really love those jerseys. Great job on this team. All right, we got a couple of pointers with this one, or a couple of notes with this team that we got thrown in. Couture will eventually be gone for Eric Lindros, so we'll have the McDavid line. And Weegar, right now they're on the fence if they want to build Al McKennis and take out Weegar and put Al McKennis in there. All I can say is I have the Pronger McKennis combo. They're pretty gross, and every time Al McKennis takes a slap shot, if it doesn't go in the net and the goalie stops it, it's always a massive rebound because of Rocket. So if you are on the fence about it, that's my 2 cents that Al McKennis is really good. And then we got JT Miller with Draisaitl and Stamkos, a Tampa Bay fan rocking Stamkos. You love to see it. We got Pasternak here and a Lucas Raymond. You don't see Lucas Raymond on the Sakic line too much anymore, so great build there. And we got Shesterkin with Vasilevsky, as a Tampa fan, got a couple of good cards, and I like the Braden Point. He's currently on my team. He's so fast. All right, we got the Sakic line, the Solani line. We got the Vasilevsky combo in net with a Russian goalie. And then we got the Marquee on the bottom end. And then we got Byfield, Stützle, and McDavid getting a +1 overall. So that's a really, really good combination there. And then Adam Fox with Blake. And the back end just had Hut Champs thrown up all over it with Kronwall and Zidlicki, but getting good combinations with these cards with Coffee and Timothy Liljegren. So this is a really good back end right here. Very good back end for the Boston Bears. Very good back end. Okay, I was told this was the best lineup that you could make. So when we're looking at it, judge it, critique it, and make sure you let them know it's not the best lineup you can make. We've got $114.5 million spent and $120 million in cap space. So he could already improve it by $5.5 million. So again, critique it. We got 89 Al McKennis with Jake Sanderson. I'm not going to lie. That is actually a very good use of Al McKennis and Jake Sanderson. Because Sanderson, I believe, gets into the 90 speed. And if he doesn't, that +2 overall would actually get him into the 90 speed. So that's a really sick defensive combo there. And then Yossi with Makar, again, that's a disgusting combo. And then the AP boost of Carlson and Dahlin. I will give you that. This is a very, very good core, like 6 defensemen. Very good. And then we got Swayman with a Noonan for 4 AP and $5 million. I'm going to say even that, like, you don't need that combination because you don't need that money yet, but you will in the future, I'm imagining. And even that, $4.5 million on your goalie pairing is really cheap. Then we got $15 million with JVR, Lindell, and Taylor Hall. I mean, you can't hate that fourth line. It's only going to get better and better, and it saves you $15 million as of right now. I'm going to have to look at this card here. I don't know who this player is. I've never looked at his card. I'm going to have to look at his card to see the unique build of this card, because I'm assuming he's a fast card, and he's utilizing it on the Germany, Oilers, Canada combination. So I'm assuming this is a fast card. Remember, he said it's the best team you can build, so take your shots. All right, we've got 8 AP on the bottom with Seattle, San Jose, Vancouver, all Canada. I think people have legit forgot about that combination because they're just going everywhere else. But this is a great way to utilize Celebrini if you have the cap space. But yeah, that's a great AP line that I think people forget about when they earn Celebrini. They say he's got no combos, but that's 8 AP is pretty sick. Then we got the Sakic line, the McDavid line. Actually, this is a different McDavid line where you got Tyler Seguin, Leon Draisaitl, and Connor McDavid all on one. That's a fun one where you get McDavid and Draisaitl playing together, and Sagan's got a nasty shot on him. And then Roenick with Rantanen and Dennis Savard. That was hard to get out. Dennis Savard's got to have good faceoffs because I know Roenick has good faceoffs. So I'm wondering why Savard's over Roenick unless his faceoffs are unbelievably nasty. And then Zidlicki with Coffee. The Hedman pairing here for 2 AP and 2 overall boost. That's actually a fun combination. And then we got Orlov with Adam Fox giving you $6 million and 5 AP. So again, another fun combination there. Now you do have a goalie combination here where this goalie is $400,000 on your cap hit, but I got to imagine you can find yourself a Ranger goalie somewhere for $1 million or less because you have $600,000 to spend before you hit the cap. So I can imagine you could find a Rangers backup goalie for $1 million to give you some sort of boost between that goalie and Vasilevsky. And then we got boiled eggs. Boiled eggs coming in with the McDavid line, the Solani, oh no, not the Solani line, but the Sakic line, and then the Solani Thompson Byfield line, and then of course the Marquee line on the bottom. And then we got Talbot and Vasilevsky giving you $6 million in salary. So that's a sick boost right there. And then we have 9 AP boost. And then we have Hudson with Makar. That's gross. Get Makar off that line before he catches the Hudson Titus and he turns into poo-poo. But we got Barron and Coffee for a fun pairing as well. Alrighty, we got the Eklund card showing up. Let's go. I think that's the first time we've seen Eklund showing up with the Sakic line. So that's fun. That's different. Good job on you for getting something different onto a most commonly seen lineup and getting a different look. I love seeing that. The only thing I would probably do, unless you don't mind the lefty-righty, it looks like you've got all lefties on your left side and all righties on your right side. Generally, what people do is they switch them. So you have one-timers are always set up. That's something you could look at, or maybe you like it this way. But I would look at that maybe where you switch your lefties and your righties. But this is a sick first line. And then the McDavid line here with Hendrick Lapierre. I probably butchered that. Getting that Washington pairing in there. That's a fun line as well. And then we got Bjorkstrand with Matthews and Crosby. Again, getting not only money, which you need because you're 111 million out of 111 million, but an overall boost as well. And then utilizing that spotlight with Draisaitl and Sam Bennett, and then Hemsky as well. This is a fun forward core. A couple of different cards, a couple of unique builds, and not holding you back at all. This is what the lineup combos are all about. I love this team here. And then the Barron, Coffee, Byram with Hudson. I'm gonna say it again. Get Byram off that line before he gets the terrible Hudson Titus and he turns into poo-poo. Okay, we got McDavid, Draisaitl, and McKinnon kicking off this line. Then we got the Sakic line and the Solani line. And then getting 8 AP, Barzell, Eric Lindros, and Steve Yzerman. That is a crazy deep team we got here. Overall boost, AP boost, just hitting it all. And then we have Askarov with Carl for $3 million. Vince Dunn with Fantasy. Adam Larson giving you $5 million in one overall boost. The 9 AP boost of Carlson, Dahlin, and Barron and Coffee. So these 4 defensemen, I think we're seeing the most of because it's just that good of a line. Zidlicki and Bork giving you $5 million for AP. That's a good usage right there. Bork is a ton of money though, like an absolute ton of money. That's like a $200,000 card. And then we got Barron with Coffee, and then on the bottom we have Vince Dunn with Brock Faber, and then the Vasilevsky Ranger combo for 5 AP, plus 3 Americans, Seattle, San Jose, and Vancouver for 7 AP. I'm assuming that Smith will be out when you get Celebrini, and you'll actually know because Celebrini would be a Canada combo. So yeah, you just can't use Celebrini on this line unless you completely flip it around for Canada and that. But we'll see when you get Celebrini if you don't already have him. We got the McDavid line and Fedorov, Eichel, and Jack Hughes. No AP boost, no salary, no nothing. Just a fun second line. Gross. But this team cost $61 million on the salary cap. And it beat me today in Hut Champs. So yes, that happened. This team has 6 AP with the Caulfield, Newhook, Zachary line. And then we got Brandon Gallagher with Sakic and Slavkovsky, and Lane Hudson is just, that's just a gross line. But this is a fun team right here that, beat me in champs today. So there's that. It's a fun team and activates 20 players activated on the captain card. We got the Solani line and Rupe Hintz on the Roenick line. I wonder if you are trying to build the Rantanen face-off card to get on with this Roenick line. And then we got the pairing of Pasternak, Olofsson, and Janmark. Again, that's the second time we've seen that pairing of Janmark and Victor Olofsson. So that's starting to pick up a little steam where you get the +2 and the AP boost. And then we got AP on Sagan, Kadri, and Taylor Hall. Lane Hudson and Phil Housley getting 3 AP as well. This team is maximizing every category it can. Well done. McDavid line with the Sakic line. Then we got the Marquee line and the Check My Game line. This is what we're going to see a lot of with these event lineups, where you stack your bottom pairing with the events to get you as many boosts as you can. And then you get 2 top lines of just, like, these are just 2 stacked top lines. And then we got Carlson with Lindstrom getting +2 overall. Blake with Yossi, and then the Marquee pairing on defense. This is a really, really good team as well, with the brand new Martin Brodeur. First Martin Brodeur we've seen, by the way. McDavid with Ovechkin and Naslin. Okay, I can get behind that. That's pretty fun. And then we have John Leclerc with Gardner and Draisaitl again. John Leclerc, like Ovechkin's base, I don't think we've seen it yet this year. John Leclerc's base, we haven't seen it yet this year. Ryan, the Solani line, we've seen a decent amount of, and this is a great AP line on the bottom with Reeves, Kadri, and Bennett. And then we've got the Detroit Talbot with Lundqvist getting you that boost there as well. This is a really good team and a huge utilization on this second pairing D with Barron and Donald Awuri, giving you 2 overall, 5 million, and 4 AP. That's a sick line right there. All right, we got the McDavid line, which I'm eventually imagining we will see the Hut Hero Mike Gardner, maybe. Or maybe it's just too expensive to build, and you're fine with the 85 overall Gardner. And then we got the Sakic line, the Solani line, and then the Canada boosted AP Vancouver Kraken and Celebrini line, giving you 5 AP there. So that's huge. I'm pretty sure that line should be 8 AP, but might just be a visual bug. And then we've got Ivan and Shesterkin, and we get the Gustafsson and Dahlin line for AP and overall boost. And then there's that Vince Dunn, Morgan Riley. I'm thinking about doing that. Get money and overall. I'm thinking about doing that. I might have to look at my team and switch that around. Oh, okay. We just got some comms there, as you can see now. It wasn't a visual bug at all. The 3 AP is on the first line. So that's where that AP went. I was wondering why that didn't say 8 with that lineup combination. We have Wilson, Draisaitl, and McDavid getting that +1 overall. That's a fun one to see. And then also we have the Sakic line, Solani with Naslund and Byfield, the line we're seeing quite a bit of. And then not worrying about any boost whatsoever, we get Josh Anderson, Sergei Fedorov, and Tim Stützle, making a complete depth team on your forwards anyway, without worrying about boost. This is just a well-built team without boosts being considered, kind of, because all the boosts are on defense, where we got the AP with the Carlson line, the overall boost with the Yossi Ekblad, and then we got money with Letang and Vince Dunn. I'm really hoping Letang can pop some goals for you here soon and really help you get that overall up to help you with your team. And then we get Demko in net with Vasi, which I don't think is anything as well. But this is a deep team where you didn't let lineup combos take over, and you probably have a lot of fun playing with it. All right, and here we go. We got the McDavid line and the Sakic line kicking off the first 2 lines with Kopitar, Byfield, and Solani making that fun third line of just a powerhouse forward group. And then we got the 15 million with the 3 AP of Couturier, Lafreniere, and Taylor Hall, which Taylor Hall is a super fast card, so that would help do some heavy lifting on that line. 7 AP of Lundqvist and Vasi, and then that Morgan Rielly line, which I am 100% stealing this combination. I didn't even think about this combo, and 5 million with 1 overall boost, Morgan Rielly on the squad. I just got to figure out how to fit it in. I don't know who I'm getting rid of, but I like this combination. And then we got Yossi with the Ekblad and the Coffee and Makar combo we see an absolute ton of. This is a very good team. 117 million out of 120 million spent with 30 AP. All right, boys. This is going to kind of be the downer for some theme teams. We've got a very, very good St. Louis theme team here. Very good St. Louis theme team. But currently, there is no St. Louis captain. No St. Louis theme team captain. So, unfortunately, this really well-built St. Louis theme team doesn't have a captain yet, but eventually will. But this is a really, really good team with Hollowell. No Broberg, though. So we're missing the offer sheet kids, where we got Hollowell, but not Broberg. Then we got Kyrou with Thompson, Reeves with Pruis, however you say his name, Suter, Kachuk, Perron. This is a really fun team. Well done here, and getting the Zachary on the squad. We got Britt coming in here with a unique team I'm seeing, where we got Oli the goalie in net, Luke Hughes as our captain. Is there a theme here? I don't think there's a theme here. We got Sam Carrick with Bouvier and Crosby, Matthew Savoy with Drouin and Mercer. This is a different team right here. This is a different team. None of the usual suspects are showing up. We've got just a massive amount of different cards here that you probably don't see anybody rocking this team. And we're getting told the team is Metro themed. So let's go, man. Having fun with that. You love to see it. This is a different team, and that's what it's all about. Building squads that nobody else has. All right, and then we got the McDavid line, which, are we getting Lindros? I'll be curious to see how that works. But we got the McDavid line, we've got the Sakic line, and then Solani, Fedorov, and Byfield. And then we got 3 salary boosters with Palat, Lindell, and Lafreniere, which 2 of them with Lindell and Palat being BND boosts. So those are sick BND boosts. Sorry, BND pulls. Those are 2 really good pulls for BND. And then you built Laffy, which is a great decision. We've got the AP boost of Forsberg with Marquis Vasilevsky. The AP boost of the Check My Game, Dahlin and Carlson. We got Makar with Hudson. I'm telling you, Makar's going to get some poo-poo if you leave him there too long. And then we've got Barron with Paul Coffey. And then the last squad, we have the Sakic line. And we have a note saying that this squad doesn't have yet, but Lindros is going on the second line with Gardner and McDavid. And then we've got the Fedorov, Thompson, and Byfield with the Marquee line. And Darcy Kemper making an appearance as the goalie with the DeSmith pairing. But that is what is going on with that space in the middle. That space in the middle is going to be Eric Lindros. But Heiskanen still manning the back end with Aaron Ekblad. But I do thank you guys for putting your teams in today. I had an absolute blast looking at what everyone's done. We've had some unique team builds. So a big pat on the back to everybody putting together some unique teams, having fun, and really utilizing those lineup combos, because I'm really starting to see the lineup combos as like the main feature of Hut this year in creativity and just having fun. And people are really utilizing that. So good stuff on everybody utilizing those lineup combos. And I can't wait to see over the course of this week, when we start getting more teams put in after Wednesday night, to see what everyone comes up with now that they've had a week to really adjust to everything. But thank you guys for watching. Till next time. Ciao, ciao.